Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 news, and quick second video today because there may well be positive news coming out of the Red Bull camp for Ferrari and Mercedes, with helmet marker revealing engine penalties are on the horizon for Red Bull as well as the other teams that have happened so far this season might well give Ferrari and Mercedes further opportunities to take points off the Red Bulls. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, just to mention this from Max Verstappen, he says look, the title is not yet locked up, it's not guaranteed. Helmut Marko says they really need 3 to 5 more victories to secure it. Of course, from Red Bull's perspective, they get their money from the constructors, and they haven't yet won that. That's not locked up quite as it seems like Verstappen's WDC might well be. So I'm sure they're going to keep pushing, but they will need to find further margin, because right now it does seem like Ferrari have the quicker car, but unfortunately for them, not the best team. Now, engine penalties have been a big talking point so far this season. Carlos Sainz started at the back, of course, most recently in France because he had the engine explosion. In Austria, had to start from the back. We've already seen it for Charles Leclerc. He took another power unit back in Canada. Hamilton had some similar issues last season. Honestly, 3 engines, given the capacity these engines have to run at for the entire season, it's incredible that any teams could even manage to get past on just 3 engines, to be honest. I think many would say they should really allow more in the pool. What it does mean, though, with only 3 engines, is if you do take further components to what you are allowed, there are grid penalties. It makes the races probably more exciting for us as fans. And Helmut Marko has revealed from Red Bull that they will be taking engine penalties later this season. They won't be able to stick to just 3 power units this year. It looked like they might be able to manage it. I'm pretty sure they managed it last year. Mercedes took some extra ICEs, internal combustion engines. Red Bull pretty much got away with it. And this year, of course, we've already seen that many teams are reaching the limit of components, and Red Bull seem to have that as something of an advantage. But if they do have to take 1 or 2 engine penalties, depending on the components, then, Ferrari and Mercedes, the door is then opens for them to deliver some results, because so far this season, it's always been Red Bull at the front with no issues to speak of. He also mentions they are going to continue to develop. It's kind of funny, really, because all these teams were complaining not long ago about this budget cap being too low, and then now all of a sudden they're still banging in the upgrade to the second half of the season, as he goes on to say. It won't be that serious anymore, but there will be updates well into the second half of the season. We'll have to wait and see the details, saying that we're not really sacrificing next year's car for this, we're just bringing the upgrades, right? So, this budget cap talk and the fact that Horner was saying that they won't be able to complete the season because the budget cap's too low seems a bit of nonsense, to be honest, when you see that all these teams are still pumping out the upgrades into the second half of the year. Goes on to say, though, that Red Bull is likely to face engine penalties. That will also happen with us, right? So I guess he was answering a question when they were talking about probably Ferrari and the engine penalties they have suffered. As he says, we will have to choose a track where you can overtake relatively well. If you look at the upcoming races, you will definitely come to a track that we have chosen. So maybe they've already got some ideas. Maybe it's Spa. Maybe it's, Mexico with the longest straight or something, where Red Bull feel like they can, take advantage of some overtaking opportunities. Generally, that's a good idea if you want to take engine penalties. Go to a track where you can actually make overtakes happen, right? But already so far this season, grid penalties have been a key factor. We've seen that yesterday, Mattia Binotto was saying that Ferrari are capable of winning 10 races in a row. Seems unlikely, but if their engine penalties, whatever additional ones they might have to take, happen to coincide with Red Bull's, then they might not be at a disadvantage, right? So that was kind of the key weakness they have for the rest of the season, is that if Red Bull are always going to be at the front of the grid with no penalties to speak of, then it's going to be really tough to put the points past Red Bull that Ferrari are going to need to. But if Red Bull will have to take grid penalties at some point themselves regardless, then it does open the door a little bit to Ferrari to catch up, but also to Mercedes to potentially get a victory, right? Because so far this season, Mercedes have been thwarted by, of course, their car not being particularly good, but also the fact that either a Ferrari or a Red Bull ends up being ahead of them. This weekend, the Mercedes finally had the pace to take down Perez, but Verstappen, after the issues that Ferrari had, was still imperious, right? But if Verstappen was to take a grid penalty, then maybe that opens the door for Mercedes to actually take a win this season. I'm sure they'll hope to get there purely on merits, but this does help the cause of both Ferrari and Mercedes. Maybe not massively, because seemingly other teams will also have to take penalties. Hamilton is already on his 3rd turbo and 3rd MGUH, the 3rd of which are allowed so far this season, so give it a few more races. Hamilton will probably be taking a grid penalty as well, but there is one coming for Red Bull, at least according to the horse's mouth, courtesy of Helmut Marko. And just to finish out with this as well, the power rankings, I think these are always rather questionable, so I'm not even going to comment on them today, but they do give Carlos Sainz number 1 for this weekend's French Grand Prix. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.